Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob and today I shall be attempting to take this Matchbox Ford Sierra RS500 Cosworth from shabby to shiny. This one is a commission job by a Mr. Brian Rogers, who contacted me through my Facebook page and said, Rob, thanks for your videos. Myself and my boys enjoy watching them, but I'm inquiring to see whether you've got any interest to do a commission on this car. So the car in question, the Sierra Cosworth, it was a car that his nan kept for him at her house, and his brother and numerous cousins played with it as children, and now Brian's children, Felix and Emlyn, enjoy playing with it too. But it's starting to look a bit sorry for itself. So he said, is there anything I could do with it? And I did say, look, I'm not going to kind of go with the rally theme, but if you want that, I can try and do a custom on it. And he said, look, I'll enjoy kind of really whatever you want to do to it. So that's what we're going to do today. It's a custom. And actually, you'll probably remember I unboxed it recently, and in the comments there, I said to you guys, what colour would you like to see it? And there was certainly one colour that stood out, probably 70 to 80% of the vote, really. So it's you guys I blame if Brian doesn't like it, but I'm sure he will. But anyway, as you can see there, this car is for playing with, and I had to enjoy playing with it myself before taking it apart. Like I say, this is a favourite of mine, the Ford Sierra Cosworth. If I ever win the lottery, then I shall be buying one of these in the colour, in the style that I'm just about to customise it. So, very cool, very cool. But anyway, you can see here, just pointing out a couple of issues. We've got a bend in that A-pillar there, and a bit of a crack in the glass. Now, I don't have any replacement parts for this one, so we're going to, kind of mould it back to straight and see if we can repair this window as best as I can, and certainly the bottle of Coors Light there on standby, because I know this one's going to be a bit of a pain. There's a lot of parts to this one, and being a commission, I always want to make sure it's as good as I can possibly do. Sometimes I do cars that I think are 80%, 90%, but with a commission, I want to make sure it's 100%. And you'll see later on that, I had to repaint this one because it just wasn't good enough, and it needed to be good enough. And then we've got the kind of little base plate there. And then, so the wheels in the RS500 kind of, I think they call them lattice style, if I remember rightly. So you'll see, as I did tap and drill these posts using my lubrication and proof that I lubed on this occasion, there we are, drip down to the bottom. And this plastic piece underneath, you can read there that it was made in China. So one of the later ones, some of the earlier ones were made in Macau. So we've got the rear light section here, thankfully in good usable condition. And in order to get the interior out and the interior glass out, we'll open up these doors to give us a bit of room. So there we are, the interior. And I thought really cool to have these seats that, go backwards and forwards. Of course, it's a 3-door hatch car. In order to get into the back of the car, you need to pull forward the seat. And I just think that's a very simple design in this casting, and it's very effective. So having never taken apart one of these cars before, just trying to figure out what I need to do. And it looks like the interior glass is all in one piece, which includes the headlights. So I'm just going to reach for a large drill bit and my drill to take off the flange to remove this glass section. Bearing in mind I don't have a replacement for this one, so treating it gingerly and certainly with respect. making sure that I can reuse this glass section. So trying to figure it out in order not to break anything. It's a bit fiddly actually, this this interior glass section. You had to kind of pull the headlights out over those posts, and then you had to then push it out from then there you go, it just pops out in the end. But yeah, quite a large piece all in one, and it is quite heavily scuffed up, this this glass section, and you can see from the inside that it's pretty clean, but certainly taken a couple of bashes from the outside there, unfortunately. But hey, this is a toy that's been played with, so there's no complaints there. Now I sometimes take the doors off on these castings, and I have left them on, and I've actually found that I've had better results by leaving the doors on, because sometimes when you take them off they just don't go back as good as the factory. But anyway, the little wow towel there, one of the most iconic designs for the Cosworth, just coming apart there as a plastic piece. But these two metal pieces here, let's get it into my foot-long hot dog jar, covered with boiling water straight from the kettle, and incoming 2 tablespoons of caustic soda. And although this is a foot-long hot dog jar, I've probably filled it up a good 2/3 of the way. So I'm not just going to dump in the tablespoon of caustic soda in one go, as I perhaps sometimes do when I've only got a couple of inches of water in the bottom. What I don't want to do, and I certainly have done in the past, is to overflow this water today. And I just let it do its thing. With so much water in there, I don't like to kind of move it around or swill it around. I just let it do its thing for half an hour or so. But whilst that is doing its thing, in goes some of the plastic parts here that fit into the warm soapy water, and then cleaning up separately the larger pieces. So as you can see, it's all looking nice and clean and tidy. And these seats simply pop off and pop back on. But that interior is a little bit too bright for me. We'll be changing that shortly. The wow towel here. So this rear kind of lenses, that'll be that's kind of already done. And yeah, have to really work now and figure out what we're going to do on this this glass. Bit concerned because I couldn't find a replacement, and I did look, but it seemed like in order to get a replacement you had to buy a whole casting, and they're not cheap, these castings. So we basically had to try and figure out or make do with what we got. I've got this Bondic glue, which is great actually. It doesn't dry until you kind of put this UV light on it. So yeah, pretty cool. So I never suffer with any kind of dry tip on this glue. But what I'm going to do is try and get it into the gap, you know, like open up the crack there, kind of drip down in the glue and see if it will harden up, just to give it a little bit of strength and rigidity. It'll never kind of, you know, it's not going to just disappear, but as long as it's can last another 30 years really. And you can see there's a crack in the corner there. Now I've got that glue inside and it was opening up before, but as I wiggle this, perhaps you can or can't see, it no longer opens up. So it has done its job. It's done what I've wanted it to do. And I've gone over the whole glass now with my 1200 grit and really gone to town to take out any minor scuffs or imperfections that are in this glass section. And then I polished it up using a couple of different polishes, and I'll be giving that the pledge treatment shortly. But turning our attention onto this casting, you know, it's now cool enough. It's probably been half an hour. I think I had my dinner in between, and it was ready to pour down the sink. And as you can see, there's probably, what would you call that, 87.4% of the paint has gone. I think really what paint remains is just holding on. It easily flicks off, to be fair. And using my little tack life, and would you believe I've got two of these now. A second one bought thanks to my patrons, but these were fully charged, and I used both of them, both full batteries, to polish up this main casting here and the base. But I'm just going to show you one little section here, just the kind of roof section. And as you can see, all the paint, and it's clean and tidy. It's not in the kind of shiny which I'm used to on some of the smaller castings. Perhaps this is a slightly different type of metal. It's almost, it feels like it might be softer. Like the underside there, you can tell that it's different, and that polishes up a lot nicer, and that'll be staying as it is in the polished condition. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scuff up these plastics and give it a Tamiya surface primer in grey, which may have a clue to the colour that we're going to be going with today. Like I mentioned in the unboxing video that featured this car, there were, I want to say, at least 20-25 comments, maybe more than that, 30 comments, and perhaps 20 of them were of one colour. And then there was a few different ones which were good ideas, but to be honest, the majority is what I wanted to do anyway. And Brian has given me kind of creative license with that, so all I can now hope is that he just likes the outcome. Well, not only just Brian, but of course his boys too. You know, I've got two boys, so I'm glad that Brian and his boys are watching the videos, as you know I do with my own children. So here we are with the main casting, the doors open, and I'll get in all the kind of door shuts and under the doors, etc. And there is a gap, so I can get away without kind of making the paint stick or making the doors stick shut or anything like that. But there we are in primer, at least for the first time, and looking good. So this is the colour we're going with today. It is Tamiya Black X1, nice gloss black. as I mentioned, around 20 of you guys down in the comments section on the unboxing video voted for black. I myself would love a black Ford Sierra RS500 Cosworth. Yeah, there's some great colours. There's white ones, there's the moonstone blues are beautiful as well. But I just don't think you can beat that in black. It looks menacing. With that whale tail, with those wheels. And the wheel colour choice, again, was down to the majority of the comments. And I shall get to that shortly. So as you can see, just painting on the insides. Even those areas that you cannot even see, you know, I'm making as much effort as all the areas that you can see. I don't do too many of these larger castings. They are, I don't want to say they're more difficult, but obviously they show more detail, and with that they show up more of the, I guess, the negatives, the faults and the warts and so on. So with these larger castings, you do need, you know, in my opinion, actually, you need to make it better. You need to try harder. So we're getting the paint here onto the main casting again. Trying to hit all of those little angles. Covering every nook and cranny of this vehicle. Running out of paint. The amount of paint I actually used on this casting was, yeah, it was unbelievable. I would say probably by the end of it, especially considering I repainted it twice, I would say I used as much paint on this casting as what I would probably use on 5 or 6 of the smaller cars that I'm, you know, used to doing. But anyway, there's the first coat, and it does receive a few coats by the end of it. And onto the interior here, I used a mix of Vallejo premium paints, a mix of just simply, I think, 50% white, 50% black, a little bit of leavening thinner, and we get this grey colour, which is darker than the plastic that it come with, but I think closer to the original. And certainly much better in my opinion anyway. You'll see I've got the backs of the doors out, and you might see a couple of sticks there just to the bottom left of the screen, and I'll paint them just off of camera. But anyway, this is the end of what I was hoping to go with the paint, and I'm looking at this car, I'm going through the motions. I'm thinking, okay, look, I've put a bit of chrome behind those headlights to make them look a little bit realistic. I wasn't entirely happy with that windscreen. The interior here I was super happy with. I painted the steering wheel black, couple of little details on the interior there, love the colour. Obviously the rear lights there, and you can see now I've painted the wheels in gold, which was a kind of or a subscriber choice, I guess, but again I agreed that they should be gold. And you got the whale tail there, and the bottom of the base, and then the main casting, and it looks all right. It looks okay, but it's not good enough. I've put the car together now, and this is kind of round one. Now I'm hoping that you can see this, and I probably will try and get the right angles of this paint. If you have a look at the reflection in the light, you can see that it's pitted. You can see it there. That's not good enough. Certainly not good enough for a commission. It's not good enough for me. So I took it all apart, and we'll start again. So as you can see now, I've rubbed it all down. I wanted this flat. Really went to town on this casting. And rather than strip it, I thought I'll just, I'll rub it down. And I've got that all nice and flat. Same again on this base. Flatten out all the areas there. And I actually triple dipped the windscreen in Pledge. So there we go. So round two. So we've now got the wheels in position, painted in gold. I think I've done 3 coats of that, hand painted in gold. The interior, which I'm really happy with and was always happy with to start with. The triple dipped window section there, which has got a lovely gloss and sheen to it now. And the rear light's okay over there. The whale tail, much happier with. It's actually smooth now, the paint. Same again with the bottom section of the car there. Still a couple of little details to add, and I'll do that off camera. And then now, like I say, it's been painted for a second time. Much happier with the outcome of that paint. But anyway, here's a little reminder of what she did look like, and this is the result. So a couple of things that you can see there is the amber in the front headlight, and amber in the side, not in the headlight, in the indicators rather, and the side indicator. Obviously you got the gold there against the black. Coming around the back, if only my camera will focus, there we are. So we got the yellow in the UK rear number plate. I didn't go with any letters, it would just be hand, and it'll probably be wonky and take away from the design of this car. But yeah, much happier now. I wouldn't have been happy to send it out in the first place. And looking around the front here, I could have painted in some kind of side lights in the front there, but looking at some pictures, they just weren't there. People had them removed, and I preferred them like that myself. But anyway, thanks to my patrons there, and a big thanks to Brian. Hope you like this one, sir, and I'll get this one out to you soon. For everybody else that watched it, thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you guys soon too.